Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome back to BaseTradeTV. Did I unmute you? Hello, Tess. Zombie Cup, good morning.
You did unmute me.
Yay. Well, I mean, you wouldn't know that.
No, I wouldn't.
But you were a good guess. That was a good guess, man.
Thanks.
That's actually straight up impressive. I did not get any fucking sleep last night, so I'm either going to be incredibly loopy, grumpy, silly, or just off topic today. I don't know. Just prepare for the worst for everybody tuning in.
Okay.
I will say it sucks though because last night we had one of those really rainy nights, and those are like the best types of nights to fall asleep when you get that sound of rain going crazy outside.
Yeah, I guess so. I actually ended up watching. Oh, I'm out of matches. Why did I keep the box then?
Why do you have matches? This is the better
I was gonna light,
question.
I was gonna light a candle.
Oh,
'Cause
my
I
logic
feel
was this was
felt
like
it.
this was a bathroom situation.
No. I ended up watching Battlestar Galactica until like 3 or 4.
Nice.
Whoops,
Nailed it.
hey. I don't know why it's so addicting to watch when I've rewatched it 4 times.
Because
Like I know it's
six
gonna happen.
is so goddamn attractive, you can't take your eyes off her.
I'm not sure that's the reason.
It's not
But
a reason though. God damn it, Trisha Helfer, why are you so good at everything you do?
it's actually, I think I know why I love watching it so much, even though I've already like maybe watched it. I'm more excited about the things that I know about finally getting to that point, I guess. So I'm like, I don't skip the episodes like I guess I could. I watch the whole thing and then I get really excited when something I like comes up.
Yo, how my favorite part of Battlestar Galactica, okay, was, and hear me out, Fat Apollo.
I love that like everyone seems to bring that up whenever someone wants to discuss Battlestar Galactica with me. Like I didn't think it was that big
I
of a
just thought it
deal,
was
but
so
everyone
funny
thought it
because
was
it was
funny.
so not expected. Like, there's so many. It's a sci-fi show, right? Like, you expect alien attacks or like space battles. You're just like, oh, he got fat. TV doesn't do this normally. That's weird.
I guess so. I just thought it looked really fake.
It did. It looks so fake. But anyways, we'll talk more on those things later. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to fix some of my sound stuff, so give me 1 second before we get into the cast. Also, make sure to put myself on busy for Skype. There we go. Spawning here in the top left side of the map, we've got one of the German pros, the blue Protoss, ShoWTimE.
The bottom right as the red Zerg, he is liquid TLO.
So ShoWTimE and TLO, I really want to start talking about EPS and Meisterkraft and all that stuff for Germany, but the most recent season was actually a little bit awkward for ShoWTimE. I'm not sure if anyone was following it at the time, but ShoWTimE, who was like, you know, normally the guy you would expect to actually win, actually didn't even make it to the finals. Then ESL went tweeting about the finals and they were plastering his picture everywhere, and he's like, bros, I'm not even in it. Like, stop it.
Sounds about right.
It's unfortunate, but my only point of reference to this story is not to create this embarrassing, silly, once-off quip here, but just to point out that these guys have played a lot of stuff together. ShoWTimE is really the top Protoss when it comes to Europe, and especially when it comes to Germany. I don't know that any other region has had the same like EPS slash Meisterkraft slash competition that these guys have had specifically for their nationality over and over and over relentlessly. I know Underdogs is kind of doing it now, and they're doing it in a different way, of course, but France and Germany seem to be, yeah, we've talked about them being the powerhouses of Europe, but also Germany specifically for this reason with this qualifier.
It's certainly the one that I think gets the most attention, aside from, yeah, the underdogs now. I know you like talked about hearing like how often other countries in Europe gets local lands, because I mean it's kind of surprising how often you'll ask a player where they are, or like what are they doing that day, and they'll actually be like, oh, I'm in a small LAN.
Yeah, is a local LAN like an ATM machine?
Yeah, it is. It is weird. Like, well, I mean, no, because it's not actually repetitive. The local part of the LAN is a different type of local.
Is it though? I mean, like, what if you
Yeah,
had
because you can go to a
hear me
far
out.
away LAN.
What if you were Spanish and had a crazy LAN party? Would it be a local LAN party?
Local?
Because it's crazy.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yep. Yeah, that's amusing.
A local area network.
If
Whoa.
Loco was there?
Oh
would it
my
be-
god, what if Loco was playing in it and it was that crazy? What if he was the one who organized it? It'd be Loco's local LAN party.
Well, it wouldn't be local for everyone. That's the whole thing. So, he's somewhat local. Anyways, the point is, you don't hear that often as, for America. I mean, there's like, again, like the Size from Gaming Land, but that's about it for what you really hear. Maybe something down in, or up in Philadelphia, but it doesn't seem as often, or as, certainly not as easy to get to for a lot of the up-and-coming pro gamers, since, there's a handful in California, and there's a handful in the West or East Coast, and some in, like, the Midwest, where no one ever goes.
I forgot to tweet that we're live, but I'm gonna tweet that dumb joke we just said. I'm proud of that.
Alright, you keep doing that then. So, TLO yesterday, I'm gonna say last night, but yesterday, had some pretty fun games versus Protoss, but that was a lot because Protoss, Gung Fu, that's who it was cannon rushing. Very weird, interesting, because he did it twice, too. Like, that was the weirdest part, Once off, okay, everyone can have their fun builds, but twice, it looked more like he intentionally had an opener here. And it almost worked as an opener. It certainly worked the first time, and so I went to, like, a Broodlord game, but the second time, not so much. The point is, I just feel like TLO is pretty confident against cheeses at the very least, early game attacks,
Actually,
but this is a very different type of attack, and it is hitting long before +1 is done.
TLO's actually been doing a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, for example, a lot of us have, and this is not at all harping on the creative aspect of things, but just good tactics. Like, a lot of us have seen Banelings come out as a response to Adepts. TLO uses burrowed Banelings as a response to Adepts. Like, there's a lot of cool ways he varies up the play that makes him not so bad versus Protoss. But, of course, this is a double elimination bracket. I want to remind everybody, since it did transform since yesterday.
Yes, that is pretty important to note, because the brackets actually haven't been updated, I guess, or that they're broke or something like that.
Yeah, Liquipedia seems to have the accurate versions.
So just keep that in mind, exactly. So the loser of this will continue on down below, just that, you don't, for instance, if you weren't here yesterday, you don't know that Primelet's already out, I think? Or is it Fear? Yeah, it was Primelet that's already out.
Yeah, he tapped out to Fear in what was a bit of a surprising set.
Yeah.
But yeah,
exactly.
if you go on Liquipedia, it shows the round of 8 pretty much perfectly lined up. I don't know if we're casting every single match or how this works, or if some will be played in tandem, but I do know that I believe the plan is to cast both of the winner's bracket matches at the very least.
Yeah, that should be the way it goes. Alright, so the Death Attack wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be for the timing. Ends up just, like, pulling back and getting his third base set up. So, I mean, TLO still had to make a lot of units, and that did cut into his drone count. Not exactly a very impressive one right now. But he probably, seeing that third base, he knows he has time to replenish that. It's just that I'm not really sure he could punish it. It looks like he's going to try. He's getting a lot of Overlords. He did scout the Stargates, I suppose. No? Huh, interesting. So he might just know that ShoWTimE, it does seem common for ShoWTimE to follow up with Stargate play as opposed to open up with Stargate play, although he can do both. So I guess he's just reading into that, which is, pretty important, but
I don't
it's not
know.
just the Phoenix attacking, it's all these Adepts too.
Yeah, but it's also TLO attacking at the same time, so he's got no defense at home. He's going to be running these drones around. He doesn't have burrow or anything, so he can't exactly hide them easily. And the question is, like, will the counterattacking be strong enough? Photon Overcharge is a hell of a defense.
Yeah.
Buys him a ton of time to warp in. Phoenix is lifting up these units. TLO fighting against the clock, not just here in terms of, like, the overcharge running out, but over here in terms of the Adepts breaking into his base. I love the idea to try and get a building down to keep them out, but it's not going to buy that much time. It will unfortunately go down.
That was about as clever as you could get. Third base is given up. It did kill quite a lot of Lings, though. I mean, the pylons did, so...
I think it's going to be ShoWTimE's win for this base race, though. While TLO does knock down a third, he doesn't even scratch the surface of the natural. The probes remain mostly untouched, and the drones are just going to get picked apart over and over by these Adepts. That transfer being so annoying. I love the idea of trying to move that Spore Crawl to keep them from transferring through. You can't transfer through buildings, but even then, TLO's left on 30 drones at the end of this.
Yeah, I agree. I think ShoWTimE's got this.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize how many Phoenix were still alive.
It really seems like TLO... I mean, he knew about the Phoenix, which is so odd, right? So it tells me that he knows a lot about ShoWTimE, but... Just in doing that attack, he did not expect the Adepts to come in again. It just being out of position like that was brutal. Interesting game, even though it wasn't super complicated. It seemingly,
Yeah,
I
like,
think
it
it
was.
had more going on behind in the minds of the players.
It was a fairly simple game, but for me, it's just frustrating to watch games like that still because that just leads into everything that is the balance whining and hate for the Adepts because it looks so easy. I mean, I want to stress we've watched a lot of really bad Adept use over our time casting, and we've seen a lot of really good Adept use over time casting. And it really is that difference of like, do you stick around too long? Do you overcommit? Do you undercommit? Do you do enough damage? You know, this, that, and the other. And ShoWTimE handled those Adepts well. And because of that, the game looks really easy. But it's not saying that handling the Adepts well in the first place is the easy part.
Yeah.
There's no A move out there for you Protoss enthusiasts watching that are like, oh boy, I can't wait to go on ladder, load up my gateways.
Load up my gateways. They're like booting up a PC when you turn them into warp gates.
Yeah. Just put the text on the overlay. Hopefully help with today, guys. My webcam's still broken. I just can't be bothered to go get a new one. I might just suck it up and do Amazon. I tried fixing it, but I don't think it worked because I still can't. Like I don't understand which part's broken. I'm not smart enough to figure that part out because the lights are coming on, everything's working. There's no loose wires when I open it up to see if I need to solder anything together. So it's a piece of junk, is what it is. And
Berate it, and that'll fix it.
Yeah.
Emotional abuse. You already tried like hitting.
Your mother didn't love you. Your mother was a VCR. How does that make you feel to know?
That sounds like an insult in Futurama against like robots.
Yeah.
My mother was a beautiful working bender. Huh. I don't know who Prince is.
Do you
Core
know?
TV.
Do you know what Bender's? It's trivia time. Do you know what Bender's middle name was?
Bending.
Yes. You're the best.
Well, wasn't that just his like wrestling name?
Bender Bending Rodriguez.
Yeah. I mean, I just recently watched it, so I'm ready to go on Futurama trivia. But...
Dude, Futurama like is pretty good at just injecting feels when you don't expect it and all that, right? And that episode where you learn about Bender and his past and him as a baby, and it plays like the blackbird singing in the dead of night as like he's like getting made and Hermes keeps him from getting rejected or whatever.
Oh,
man.
that episode.
That whole episode was stupid up until the last like 3 minutes where they're doing that, and then I'm like, oh.
Yeah, my favorite episode's always going to be when you find out who Leo's parents are. I think the ending montage with that, with the song in the background, is always super cute.
Yeah, I mean the obvious go-to is the Seymour the dog thing. Like we all know
like,
that.
I know
so
you
it's
say
like
that, and everyone else seems to think the same thing, but I didn't actually think that was that great of an episode.
Well, regardless of what you think, first off, I think it was a great episode. But regardless of that, like it's the one everyone goes to, so I don't even bring that one up because it is just like the assumed feels episode. I actually really enjoyed the what was he gets to go back. I'm getting like sad thinking about it, where he gets to go back and see his mom in the dreams or whatever, and then at the end of the episode, he gets to talk to her for real.
That was one of the that was like season 9 or something.
Yeah, it was a late feels, but it was a feels nonetheless. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you're feeling good about StarCraft because we're in game number 2 for the WESG German qualifiers. Spawning in the bottom left side is going to be the red Protoss player ShoWTimE.
In the top right as the blue Zerg, he is Lego TLO.
So I love that this is a rather common thing where people seem to think that stock footage of Canadian couple or whatever are my parents for the out-of-game overlay. And I feel like if I did have parents who were that, first off, brave to wear those outfits, followed up by that nationalistic to wear those outfits, I would be a very different person.
Yes.
I don't know what part of that screams Rifkin's parents. Like, if this was something dumb where it's a pair of vampires and people are making jokes, I'm like, hardy, horror, horror, horror. But really, it's just like a random Canadian I bet you those are American actors in a Canadian outfit.
Probably. I think they're definitely like paid at the very least, no matter what their nationality is.
Well, yeah, I got off like stockfootage.com or
Yeah,
whatever. So.
exactly. Like they need superhero. Well, it's just so interesting because it is, when you think of like looking at stock photos, unless you specifically search for old people, you don't usually get old people. Like if I'm searching for Superman, or rather a superhero that's Canada man, I expect like, yeah, Superman, kind of young or at least mid-30s at most rather, and good looking, not too older people. So I can kind of understand the whole like,
Well, hang
old
on.
people
I think
on
that's
the internet
subjective whether
gotta
those
be
old people
someone's
are good looking or
old
not. That's an unfair statement.
fiction.
What if they're beautiful to each other?
They probably are. That doesn't mean anything to me.
You old wrinkly bag, I can't get away from you. Thank
The
you,
point is,
Mr. Arthur Simon, for the 11-month resub.
the point is, yeah, you just wouldn't expect that to automatically go to a couple older people. Just, throwing it out there. Yeah.
Well, TLO not exactly rushing towards his third, as he did just skip ahead and take this base as his second one instead, but we'll ultimately take it. Galactic Process is kind of a cool map. You get those freebies for the bases, and while the other maps are a little more uncertain, it's a lot easier for TLO to guard all three of his bases with the same wall-off tactic he was using in his natural, providing he gets the creep spread out here. That being said, same sort of tactics apply to ShoWTimE. We typically see these rocks taken down by the Zerg, but the Protoss is the mothership core. Yeah, it's the same boring story we've seen before. We just assume players will get the 3 bases on this map. ShoWTimE is throwing out a couple of gateways right now, but I'm wondering just how many this will be, because right now the amount he has is kind of adequate for 2 bases. 4 gateways and a Stargate, that's production. But if it's like 7 gateways, that's an attack.
Oh, it's 3 gateways.
Well, I mean, I'll have 4 in total.
Really?
Oh no, you're right. That's Twilight Council. My bad. Still,
Yeah.
same difference though. In terms of like, this is just production. It's not him gearing up for a big attack yet, with an asterisk. Whereas TLO, however, has cut drones. He's going for a lot of Zerglings. He's got a Bailing Nest following it up, and while he is going to be on 3 bases, ShoWTimE may not be.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, ShoWTimE is one of those Protosses who still loves this type of wall, where a lot of the Protosses are going for the diagonal wall. I'm not saying that one is necessarily better than the other, because they're both going to have weak points of, an adept or a pylon, or just like an opening in general. Without a sentry, it's always going to be complicated, or without prior knowledge that you can get the backup wall going.
Oh God, that's a
it's
lot
going
of
to be
Banelings.
complicated to defend against the Baneling all-in. It's pretty old-fashioned, and it's pretty old, rather, not old-fashioned, and it's a surprise at how old it is.
That just knocks that down real quick. Not only 2 gateways for the production to defend with, there should be enough adepts to take on the Lings. The question is whether the Banelings get good enough hits to make this devastating. It looks like not going to be the case. Phoenixes lift the rest of this up, and while DLO did bust through that wall, he doesn't seem to have a lot of killing potential.
Yeah,
Actually, with the reinforcements, yeah, maybe this is different. He's got a full surround. The Phoenixes don't have enough energy to lift all these up. Probes get pulled into this. ShoWTimE losing out on his army, losing out on the probes. This has already done a lot of damage, and looks like it will do just a bit more.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize he sacrificed the mothership core for the Stargate. That's why this defense is so rough for him.
Yeah, especially rough for sure. I mean, the reinforcements were always going to be the complicated issue. Probably having a wall off the main base would have been better.
This is actually really great, because I don't know if there's the damage to stop all these. The probes have to get pulled. Yeah, this was better than using the Lings for certain. But more Lings come in, the natural base is certain to go down. ShoWTimE's going to be left on 1 base remaining. One of the Banelings pops off barely. Probes don't die, however, but are very close to death.
Yeah, I mean, these are gonna all, almost one-shot him, so I'm a little surprised he even bothered taking more Banelings.
This is a great way for TLO to bring the series back for him. As I had mentioned at the start, this is presumed to be a pretty nice macro map, so playing against that thought process and just hitting him with a big all-in really caught ShoWTimE off guard. I mean, scouting wasn't there for it. He wasn't expecting this to be that bad, and that's all she wrote. This is there's no way to stop these Lings. Overcharge almost ready for round 2, but that being said, the probes are pretty much all gone at this point.
Oh yeah. TLO's had a drone lead for a while, and that's without making any more drones. Seems like a couple units got across the map. I think it was the Phoenixes.
Yeah.
So they can't do much.
Would like to apologize for that little coffee fit, guys. I had 1 marijuana one time, and it's stuck with me for my entire life. I've never recovered, and my lungs have been dead for my whole life, all because of that 1 marijuana. It's a true story. We're gonna go to
I
commercial
believe
break
you.
though. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. We'll see you guys for game 3. Alright folks, thanks for watching that small break and giving us a bit of a breather. We are in game 3's lobby for King Sejong Station.
Yep. Just waiting, chilling. ShoWTimE. So, going to Kings of the North tomorrow. Super excited.
Right, do you leave tonight or do you leave tomorrow? How's that work?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. First time I'm not going to be bringing a checked bag, I think. Ever on an airplane.
Well, how's that work?
The first time I'm not taking a checked bag. I'm just taking carry-on.
Oh, right. I was like, are you not planning to bring a change of clothes? Like I know
found my
you wear.
secret.
I was gonna say, I know you like wear a lot of beauty products and like you got that stuff that smells good and all that. But damn, like that's some confidence. Like
Yeah, I'm just that confident.
I'm not gonna sweat a single drop. I'm not gonna fart a single thing. I'm gonna smell like a rose for the entire weekend.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
That will absolutely work too when you start drinking. Everyone knows that people smell their best when they're making a mess drinking. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, game number 3 for WESG Germany qualifiers. This is the winner's bracket, still spun here in the top left side of King Sejong. We got the red Zerg player. It is Team Liquid's TLO.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, he's ShoWTimE.
Who is very much more adamantly scouting. Of course, it wasn't the early pool or anything like that that caught him so badly off guard. It was very strictly a devastating and unseen all-in. So this scout is not such a big deal, but a scout 3 minutes from now really will be. So I'm not sure where he plans to do with, or how he plans to do that. I imagine it's going to be an adept, a single one at least, transferring in, transferring out, maybe a couple drone kills, but mostly, and more importantly, eyes on what's going on.
Certainly could be an adept. He could hide the probe and try and come back in later. And I'll say that since he opened up with the Stargate last game, if he had just sent the Phoenix out immediately, as opposed to what was happening, which was he sent it to the common location for an Overlord and then rallied the second Phoenix to it and then just stalled out there for like 30 seconds. If he sends it immediately across, it won't do any damage. It'll reveal that you have a Stargate if it's not already obvious. And, you know, but you do get that immediate scouting. And if he's really super worried about another Baneling all-in, then I think that would be worth it. It's all dependent on him going for a Stargate, though, and that's not a guarantee here.
I still think, like, to a degree you can pull it off if it is, like, literally any other build, but it is just, like, the most easy mode effective against Stargates.
I think, like, Stargate's pretty popular in King Sejong, and ShoWTimE really seems to like Stargates, too, in general, whether it's opener or transition or, you know, super late, New Gettysburg, whatever. So I'm kind of guessing that's how it'll go, but
Maybe,
we're
we'll
about
see.
to see. There you go.
By the way, thank you to Laser Sex as BTTV supply drop flies away. You just like you just you supply hit and run us with a 20-month reset.
Yeah.
What? Thank you very much. Like the 20th time I've caught these motherfuckers off guard.
Like you started going into like knife bot.
Yeah. His name's Roberto. Please tell me you watched Futurama recently. Like I believe that.
Roberto, what are you doing here? Not much.
I'm gonna practice my stabbing. Yeah.
Anyway.
He was actually one of my little not so important but favorite Futurama bits was in the crazy robot asylum. And you got like the Mad Hatter robot just yelling, "Change places!" And all the robots like get up and shuffle around.
Dude, that was like the most just like I didn't really enjoy the episode that much, but just like how much Fry went through.
Oh
was like,
man,
Jesus.
I felt bad for Fry after that one. That's
Right?
for certain. All right, so ShoWTimE, by the way, not being more adamant about scouting, despite the fact that I thought he would be. I mean, he's rushing out the Oracle. That'll get across the map, zip and zoom. But so this was something where I think you still do play really paranoid after that last game. Like even the smartest player doesn't take for granted any build after losing to an all-in like that.
It is. I agree. It's a little surprising to see him throw an adept or a probe back in there, but really just depending on the oracle. If it was a Ling all in again, it would be occurring like right now basically, and you would have seen Lings running across the map at the very least. So you know he still scouts better than last game, but it was like I'd be worried. He's not. And it's just it's droning right now. Roachborn and Evolutionary are on the way, but it's up to kind of TLO if he wants to try and break this third base, which when we were talking about being paranoid, TLO was the one who kind of like instantly lost, not instantly, but like basically did that first game because he tried to attack and just was completely caught off guard by the adepts.
Well, not only like indicated by the fact that he's droning a ton right now, but the +1 melee says to me he's not really looking to go anything too deep right now. I would actually love to see TLO to take us all the way to Broodlords if given the opportunity, but we'll see if he gets there. Well, we got the Twilight Council and a lot of gateways coming down at ShoWTimE. He's getting ready to do something. Now again, with 3 bases down, this could still be just production, or he might start dialing it in for a big attack. Also, completely unrelated to StarCraft 2 for the moment, guys, because I see this asked in chat, and I think it's a silly question. Someone's saying, like, with EG going away, will we ever see Huck again, right? And Huck is doing a lot of Overwatch. In fact, he's on, like, I want to say the Canadian Overwatch team for the Blizzard stuff. Like, he's gonna be around, guys. Huck's he's a very active dude. If not StarCraft, Overwatch for certain. I mean, I think he's been really dedicated to Overwatch. I
thought you were gonna bring that up just because it's like, I mean, the whole thing is confusing. I mean, anyone saying like, I guess EG's done now is like, I don't know. That's a pretty bold thing to say, I suppose. I mean, no one's really sure what's happening. They just have a lot of guesses, but
yeah. Well, regardless, even if it, like, worst case is like EG just closes shop, I'm just kind of like, those guys that are left at this point, you got In Control, you got Huck, you got Jaedong, like, all people who are names that are bigger enough to, like, precede the team. It wasn't EG that made them, they made a G type thing, you know? So I'm not too worried about, like, In Control finding work or Huck finding work or game time. Like, Jaedong, especially if he ever wants to, can come down from that golden palace I'm sure he sits on in Korea and just do whatever he likes.
The Golden Palace, called a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
With a computer you put Brood War on.
Yeah, it's a Chinese
place. StarCraft.
Golden apartment.
Yeah. Anyway. Anyway, aside from that, I guess actually isn't much else to talk about. They're really playing a pretty pure macro game here. I mean, Baneling speed rather is on the way. We have a handful of roaches that are going to get upgraded apparently with speed. He's defending against this push first and foremost, but ShoWTimE, he's still putting probes, still advancing his tech, no all in, and he's just looking to get a couple of drone kills, distract TLO to the left, go to the right, other way around, whatever. It's doing a pretty decent job so far. It gets a cancel on the 4th base. I think that was a cancel anyway.
Oh, we can hit Shift K to find out. Yeah, it was a cancel.
There you go. So, and 8 drones. Not bad.
I'm more impressed with the 8 drones, but there are Balings. There's speed seconds away from finishing. TLO is equipped to take a fight. And the best part about this is he actually comes in with a pretty nice supply lead. Now, granted, yes, Rifkin, it's roaches. I get it. But still, a supply lead nonetheless.
Well, I guess TLO not going to be hitting before that +2 is done, so we still has a while. And ShoWTimE getting, charge +1, Storm, 2nd Robo, pretty important too. All looking into that macro game. So you might just get your, kind of wish about Broodlords. Oh god.
Oh man, even Apollo agrees. No, that doesn't sound like Apollo. Yeah, I was gonna say that's okay.
Apollo
Baby, got it.
Never meowed in the mic. Are you kidding me?
Actually, yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard Apollo meow.
He's a surprisingly quiet cat unless you have catnip or food.
He's like, "What's up? How's it going? Long time no talk."
Yeah, that's exactly what he's like. I picked Baby up once, and now she thinks that, she's cool.
Thank you, Cuddly Scorpion, by the way, for 3-month resubs. As 3 months goes by fast. Awesome casting as always. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Although we are not doing a lot of casting, and I'm doing a lot of I haven't slept off-topic speaking, so I'm not bad. I do feel guilty. The pylon goes down pretty quickly. The Immortals on the backside are also too big of a threat to these roaches. I actually really worry for TLO in this fight. As ShoWTimE backs himself into a corner, he also may lock himself in there. Had TLO walked away from that.
Kind of sucks he just took Immortal shots, the Corsair shots on his Immortals, but Had he had more banelings, I would have been right there with you, like, oh my god, when the force fields are down, he's so dead. But
Yeah.
he didn't have any other banelings. And even though all the depths were clumped up, they're still effective against the Ravagers. So this is not going so poorly for ShoWTimE, who still has storms to use against the banelings that are now morphing.
Yep. Here we go. Storm right on top of them. Not quite going to catch all of them, but several of them get quite low and almost dead. There we go. Second round of storms. Not so bad. Cleans up a lot of the lings, too. And he keeps pushing back against TLO.
Now, TLO, I mean, he's got +2 on the way. That actually might finish in the defense if ShoWTimE tries to counter. But I do wonder about his intention for that attack. It was before +2 finished. It wasn't that many banelings. As far as a dedicated mid-game lair tech all-in goes, that felt a little underwhelming. Yeah. And now he's kind of stuck on Roach Baneling for a while longer.
I kindly thank you to Wardy, by the way, for those. Hope you had a good stream this morning, man. So you got to cast some Beyond. And hello to Wardy's viewers. Stream's just started, the first best of 3 of the day, so you haven't missed much as we get here into the ace match. Things get a little bit dicey now for TLO. Not in terms of like he's in immediate danger, but just, I just realized the overlay should be swapped. There we go. But in terms of the fact that he really did not do enough damage with that. And what he's left with is a really like badly damaged Ravager army. He's got fragile units like Banelings coming up against things like Storms. ShoWTime's had plenty of time to regenerate more energy. He's got Storms on each and every one of these Templar.
Yeah, I don't see TLO actually breaking through this, unless the Banelings hit all the Zealots and the High Templars. And even then, I wonder. He does have double robo production, and there's still a lot of Ravagers. This isn't the like sprinkle of Ravagers. Oh, what are you doing?
I'm not sure why those were out there, but the Baneling finds a really nice hit. One of the Templar goes down.
Huh. That was really weird, but at least still has a couple more storms. I just gonna say this isn't like a sprinkling of Ravagers and a majority Ling Baneling army like we've seen Snoot do. This is actually a more Roach Ravager than Ling Baneling.
TLO
and the Roach Ravager just isn't convincing after Storm and Immortals are out.
No, but what's interesting about this is TLO does manage to pick out some very key units here. A lot of the Templar go down. The Archons get picked up. The Mothership Core, and even an Immortal almost goes down. But unfortunately, he's not left with much behind that. And while +2 melee and lots of Lings would be good, TLO's not in a position where he has lots and lots of Lings. In fact, barely has any.
Yeah. Of course, at this point, Lings are...
Oh, that Storm!
Banelings. So much for those. And I think it's so much for TLO, too. Now, he does have the losers bracket to go through. It's not that long of a losers bracket either, but
there's still really good players in this tournament. And it's going to be ZvP most of the way through by the looks for him. So
yeah.
Congratulations to ShoWTimE, who will take the series 2-1. Not bad either. That was actually... Game 2 made me worried because like the all-in hit so strong. It was like, okay, there's no scouting, blah blah blah. But I really enjoyed watching ShoWTimE play Game 3 out. But okay, we're gonna go to another commercial break while I run to BRB. So the next series is gonna get set up. I believe it's Lambo versus Hero Marine. Hero Marine, the only Terran, by the way, guys. So if you are a big Terran fan, send up your energy. I know I'm gonna be channeling it to him, as Lambo is quite the opponent to go up against. Either way, we'll see you all in a few minutes.